Hey guys, it's Troy, and today is an exceptional pen day. I mean, all this month, the month of January 2019, for me has been spectacular as far as pen acquisition and the pens that I've added to my collection. I mean, just this month, and it's almost the end of January, I've added a Montblanc 146, an Esterbrook Phaeton, let's see, a Stipula Passaporto, Pelican Jazz Excellence, a Keiko Edge, a Leonardo Momento Zero Positano, I've added that, a Waterman Forum, a Waterman student pen that they called an Indie, and a pen that I have been waiting on that I ordered in September 2017. Showed up today from Newton Pens. I call it Obi-Wan Shinobi, so it's a good thing I'm wearing actually a Star Wars shirt today. So the model is a Shinobi. I already named it Obi-Wan. And then when you talk about Grail pens, there are certain pens that you run across, that you see, that you just fall in love with. I have been using a Waterman pen since, oh gee whiz, the 1990s. And my first real fountain pen was a Waterman Filius, and I still use it today. I have been fascinated with old vintage Watermans, and I like modern pens as well, and there's one particular modern pen that I saw, and the first day I laid eyes on it, I said, I love it. I've got to have one. I wanted a Waterman Edson. And I kept looking and I kept looking and I kept trying to buy one. I always got outbid, always got outfoxed online. And then I saw the Waterman Edson and Boucheron edition. Well, I finally got it. When I saw the Boucheron, the Edson in the Boucheron edition, I said, I've got to have it. I'll talk more about the pen itself later. But for right now, that is my Grail pen, my very first Grail pen. I said, I want it, I've got to have it. That's my goal in collecting. I've got a few more that I've added to it, but that one is my very first one. So, let me share just a little bit with you. Not a full review of either one of these, but I'm just sharing you my humongous, big-time, long-awaited, my most happy pen mail day ever. Okay guys, this is my Sean Newton special. Sean Newton out of Hot Springs, Arkansas. Now, I saw him make other pens, and this particular model I fell in love with when I first saw it. Someone shared with it on a video, and I was absolutely in love. L-O-V-E with it. It is a Shinobi model, and I will be inking this up here a little bit. I pulled the converter out of it. I'm probably going to make it into an eyedropper filler. And this is absolutely beautiful. Beautiful clear acrylic. It costs extra money to get the clear acrylic. The Shinobi has a base price. You add another $50 to get the clear acrylic. And I got the extra large in length and large in the size of the diameter. This is probably one of the larger pens that I own. And I got a number 8 titanium nib. I did the upgrade. So instead of a number 6 nib, I went ahead and I got a number 8 titanium nib. So, let's go ahead and ink this baby up and let's see how she writes. Alright, as promised, let's see how these beautiful babies write. I have filled up my Shinobi in, as I said I would. I have eyedroppered this baby. So I decided not to use the converter and instead just fill the barrel, and in this case I used one of my favorite blue inks, and here it is, Iroshizuku Konpeki. It's kind of a staple in the pen world, but I really like the blue of this particular ink, and you can see it's got a huge ink capacity. I decided not to fill it all the way because I get the chance to see my ink slosh around, and I enjoy doing that. That's one of the things I love about demonstrators, and one of the things that really caught my eye about the Shinobi. Let's see how Obi-Wan writes. Keep in mind, this is not a full review. I will go in greater detail when I do a full video on just this particular pen. I'll give you all the specifications and all the details about it later. For now, I'm just showing off my brand new baby. So this is a Sean Newton creation of Newton pens. And this is the Shinobi. And I named it Obi-Wan. Obi-Wan Shinobi. Alright, and this is Iroshizuku Konpeki. This is a titanium nib. It's a number 8 nib, so let's see if it's got some flex. Yeah, it's got some flex to it, as I would expect, just a little bit of flex. When you're dealing with steel and titanium, then sometimes you can get some flex, sometimes not so much, and I did expect a little bit of line variation available. Sean said he was going to tune it for me. One of the things when we were talking about nibs a while back, he asked me what I like, and I told him that I like an ultra buttery, smooth, boring medium nib. So I've got a Bock titanium boring medium nib, and it is relatively smooth. That's with relatively no pressure whatsoever. One of the things that Sean told me that I did not know is that titanium nibs right now are only made through Bock. So when I saw the logo on a picture that he sent me, I said, so the number 8 nib is going to be titanium and Bock. And he said, yep, Bock was the only company that was making them. So there is my Obi-Wan Shinobi. Now, the Grail pen I told you about that has been on my wish list for quite a while is Waterman Edson in the Boucheron edition. Waterman Edson traditionally has been just this beautiful, gorgeous blue without any of the overlay. This filigree overlay actually is by Boucheron, which makes it the Boucheron edition, and Boucheron is a French jeweler. This is a Waterman pen made in France, and it is a one of their upper end pens that came out in the 1990s, and they stopped making them. So it is one of their better, more gorgeous, absolutely stunning looking modern pens from Waterman. Alright, now I've got the Waterman Karen, I've got the Phileas, and as for some of their moderns, and I've got the Hemisphere and some of their others, and they all write very, very well. This one has a fine nib to it. I usually go for a medium nib, but this one in particular was available and at the right price, at the right time, and I jumped on it because I also know that Waterman medium nibs do write a little bit on the broadside. So I figured I'd go ahead and give it a shot. Alright, so now this particular pen has a number to it. Alright, there is a number series. So let's see if I can get you a good shot here in the presentation box. Waterman Boucheron number 2,280 out of 3,741. 3741 represents the aggregate or the addition of the two numbers of the years that both Waterman and Boucheron, as the famous French jeweler, each went into business. So the number of their years for 1800 something plus 1800 and something adds up to that 3741. Gorgeous pen. Been waiting on this for quite a while. Just so glad to have it here in my hands. So let's go ink this baby up and see how she writes as well. Now here, the Waterman Edson in Boucheron. You picked a sucker up, you know you've got a pen. I mean, it's weighty, it's a little beefy, it's fairly girthy in the hand. I got the chance to actually write with an Edson some time ago at the DC Pen Show, but I did not know what the Boucheron was going to be like by comparison. So this one is a Waterman Edson, and in conjunction with the French jeweler Boucheron edition. I put, and I chose another one of my all-time favorite inks, and I'm running low on it, so I really need to buy some more, but my Waterman Serenity Blue. I was really concerned at first about this particular pen being in a medium, not being in a medium nib, being instead of fine nib, because I don't tend to like fine nibs very much. But this one actually writes fairly nicely. It's not too thin of a line for me. It's not too scratchy for me. It actually writes very smoothly. I mean, you hardly need to put any weight down on it whatsoever, and it's in, you know, with that you can't really call it an inlaid nib. Maybe you can, but it's a very rigid nib, so do not expect really for there to be much line variation or any flex to it whatsoever. This is just meant to be a well writing or a good writing pen, and sure enough, it is smooth, writes a great line. And so far in all my testing with it and playing with it, which I did off camera, it has been absolutely flawless. So there you go. My biggest pen mail day ever. Not biggest in terms of the number of pens, but biggest in terms of the quality of pens and the cost of pens, and the pen mail day I was most excited about. Quite honestly, I didn't know that the Shinobi was going to arrive on the exact same day as the Waterman Edson. Two pens I've been wanting for a long time, both show up on the exact same day within a few hours of each other. So you saw me unbox them, you saw me well, you didn't see me ink them up, but you saw me write with them just after inking them up, and you got a chance to see the other cool things that Sean includes. And for instance, like, he has his own coffee mug. You pay an extra $5, you get a Sean Newton or Newton Pens coffee mug. The only downside to this, as much as I'm going to sit there, because I went ahead and brewed some. I went ahead and brewed some coffee when I was waiting. The downside to this is that it just doesn't fit under my Keurig. So I had to brew in one cup and dump it into this thing. So here we go. But now that I've got my Newton Pens mug, I'll be doing a lot of sipping on that. And it was kind of neat. You know, Sean has these nice little pen sleeves that come with his pens. And it's got just like that little pocket right here, and it slides right in. So I'll talk more in detail about both of these pens, some positives, some negatives if there are any, and I will go dimensions, and I'll do a lot more writing maybe, and a lot more detail behind the pens when I get the chance. But for now, this was just a show and tell today, really quick. My pen mail, my Grail pen is here. My Obi-Wan Shinobi is here.